Spectacular ocean views not far away from the home of the Florida Atlantic Owls, FAU Stadium in Boca Raton, Florida, where they hope this game lives up to the setting. As we wind our way toward the end of another college football season, one of the grand traditions is paying tribute and respect to those who have just poured their souls into the success of this program and honor the seniors on Senior Day. As we'll see, the number 14 team in the country, the Oregon Ducks, taking on another team from the Big Ten, the Florida Atlantic Owls. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. Florida Atlantic about to put toe to leather and get this thing started. On the move from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Offense set on first down. They go to the ground. Oh, what a move. They shut it down quickly, but he gets 2 out to the 18. Sometimes people say... Second down. Now, what's the big deal about going on the road? Well, if you're not careful, you might find out in a spot like this one, guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is a hostile environment, and you know you're going to be getting the opponent's A-game for this one. They've circled this one all off-season, so they better be ready to bring it today, David.
And the hardest thing to do in college football is to go on the road. Everything about it changes, and you want to shut this crowd up early. You don't want to give them belief, because if it starts to build throughout the game, look out.
Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. He's looking to throw. Fires to the big fella. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a first down.
Ooh, that's a nice throw. Great accuracy there. And you think about Oregon quarterbacks, I know we think about guys running around a little bit, but think back to guys like Dan Fouts, A.J. Feely. How about that name? Joey Harrington, of course, Justin Herbert. These guys could thread the needle from the pocket, make all the throws. This guy here reminds me a little bit of them.
That was an eyelash away from being picked off, and that is not the way to set the tone with a near pick on your opening drive. After the misfire, now on second down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. You want to make sure to maximize those types of runs, and he gets it out to the 41.
And a nice job by the running back, finding space, getting downhill, making a good run. Great job finishing with his pads.
They've got it at the 41, 3rd and short, trying to keep the chains moving. They'll try to get it through the air. Still on his feet. And this sophomore able to wreak some havoc and get the sack.
You're not going to win a lot of games if you can't protect your quarterback. In their last game, they got sacked 4 times, lost the game. And so far in this one, they're having difficulty again. These guys up front have got to do a better job communicating and giving their QB time.
Looking for a block. It's Washington. And he's going to get it up to about the 29-yard line before he's brought down. Offense getting set for first down. Now the quarterback changing the original play call. to the air on first down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down.
You know, it's difficult for QB sometimes when you're throwing to your running backs because they're not receivers. You really got to be perfect with the ball placement. You got to make that a catchable throw. A little bit too tough for the RB on that one.
And now on second down for this offense. Here's the handoff. Still running at the 40. The expressway is wide open. Obliterates him, still on the move. And they get him out of bounds after an explosive run, just chewing up yardage along the way. That last play has this defense on its heels. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 21. Use the play fake, now to throw. Gets it out quickly. Stopped after making the catch.
Nice quick throw there. It's so important for quarterbacks to be able to find a rhythm and to be comfortable and confident. You want to just get the ball out quickly, make it an accurate and easy throw. And you can tell that these two guys, they rep that play in practice all the time, and it's now showing up here on game day.
One back in the backfield, and they'll give it to him. And he's knocked down, but not before moving the chains.
Well, the defense is on their heels right now. They're going to have to find a way to stop this guy. When he's got a head of steam, boy, he is hard to bring down.
And the Owls look to keep this drive humming.
Yankee blue! Yankee blue! Jackrabbit! Cross! Hustle!
Quarterback checking off. They'll use the running game on 1st and goal. And he'll step into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida Atlantic.
And this running back is so dangerous down close to the end zone. He's got wiggle, he's got great vision and burst, and he showed all of those attributes right there.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the PAT makes it 7-0. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And what a way to finish it with a 9-yard touchdown run. They're just about ready to kick it away. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Has it back, and here comes the offense. That last drive won't go on the highlight reel after ending in a punt. They'd like to be more productive this time, David.
And I think this offense has to be a little bit more balanced. Find a little balance between the run, Jesse, and working in that pass.
And I think, too, David, it's just going to take a spark. It just takes one play to get this thing picked up and going.
Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on 1st down. It's 2nd and 3. They'll put the tight end in motion. Looking for space. It's Parker. Dances away again. And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the 1st down. The Ducks get a fresh set of downs with a fast, hard finish on that play.
Fast is the word. As long as I can remember watching Oregon football, it's always guys that can get the football, get downhill, get back in the line of scrimmage, run the next play really fast, but it always starts with the ground game.
Out of the gun, they'll run it inside. After the pickup of 9, it's 2nd and 1.
Well, it's plays like that that'll help this offense stay in rhythm all game long. If you can have that kind of success on 1st down running the football, it just opens up your entire playbook moving forward.
After the 9-yard pickup on 1st down, here's 2nd and 1. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their first of the half. And here comes the offense on 2nd down. They'll run it out of the shotgun. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
How about the defender being a heat-seeking missile? He was on radar lock. He found the football and flew down with some bad intentions.
They have work in front of them on 3rd and short from the 42. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Defense is about firing off, hitting the offensive guys and staying in your gaps. Everybody knowing where they're supposed to be. You can tell the defense, everyone was right where they're supposed to be, nowhere to run.
They're throwing for it on 4th down. He wants to go deep. He caught it. Goes out of bounds just short of the goal line, and they'll be set up and in great position here.
That's a great example of the receiver knowing exactly where the 1st down marker is. He got the depth he needed to get, so once he was able to make the catch, he already knew he had it, and now a fresh set of downs.
And he tried to punch it in himself, but the defense stands tall on 1st down.
Well, they try to go quarterback sneak, and I know to a lot of people that's a play we all take for granted, like it always works. Quarterback sneaks are designed to get just 1 inch. Somehow you've got to come up and do it. But the defense there, David, they bowed up and stopped them.
Did a great job. Listen, everybody knows what's coming. You know it's a quarterback sneak. It's still hard as heck to stop, but nice job by the defensive lineman. Get off the football. Don't allow them to go backwards. Don't push you backwards at all. And then what do you see with linebackers? A lot of times they come flying in there, making the stop. But a nice stop by this defense, expecting the quarterback sneak.
Try to power it in. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Ducks! Now you know why you do all of those squats, all of those deadlifts, extra time in the weight room.
No doubt. Get that lower body strength so you can just shed people off you. What a great job smelling the end zone and getting in.
And the extra point was good as they finished the drive. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
A lot of eyeballs on your game, guys, and a few on this interesting matchup as well. Eastern Michigan is ahead in this one. This team plays a hard-nosed style of football there in the MAC, but they're a long way from closing this out. They're up by 4 over Washington State. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Florida Atlantic has the ball back, and the offense will try to put together a drive. After standing on the sideline and watching that long touchdown drive, they really need to put something together to give their defense a rest.
And that's a real thing, man. Like, you played a lot of plays, you get worn out. You need a chance to go decompress on the sideline, get some oxygen. Palmer, now it's on this offense.
Yeah, this is the definition of complementary football because it's a two-pronged problem. You've got to score points and answer, but you've also got to take your time and give your defense an opportunity to get their win.
Running back searching for a hole. Barrels all the way to the 29, a gain of 6.
Love the push by the offensive line on that RPO play. Look how they just work the single teams and the double teams. You see linemen chipping off of their guys and climbing into the second level, getting a hat on the linebacker. That's why those types of plays are successful.
That's the end of the first quarter, with the score tied 7-7.
Now facing a third down as they come back to the line after the break.
Check. Easy.
They'll try to run for it. The Owls pick up the first down.
Offenses that are great on third downs, what do? Most of the time, they keep it in manageable situations where they're not predictable, not just dropping back to pass. They do it here on third and short. They convert. This offense has been so efficient on third downs all throughout this season.
Just when they're looking run, now up top. Got his man on the right. He makes the stop after the catch, and still some work to do to pick up that first down.
Nice completion here to this wide receiver, and you're going to see this receiver line up in different spots all over the field all game long. Defense has got to keep their eye on where this guy is because they know he's a big part of this offense's success.
Lasso.
Wide out in motion. Quick handoff. Gets it to the 42-yard line, and that's a first down.
Well, the offense knew what they needed to get that first down, so they dial up the running play, and they get just enough to keep the drive alive.
This Florida Atlantic offense is moving quickly.
Unlock.
Movement here from the tight end. They're going to go right back to him on first down. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Well, right away after picking up the first down, they go right back to their playmaker at running back. And I love the push they got up front, getting a hat on a hat, opening a huge hole for the back.
And you become so hard to defend when you can run the football successfully on first down. If you're starting like that, now what opens up? Play action. Now you're making me play pass and run. This offense, if they can create that run physicality, now it opens up everything else.
Oh, man, there's some big hitting going on in the trenches right now. This defense, they take a lot of pride in stopping the run. Let's keep our eye on them throughout the course of the game and see if they can contain this running attack.
Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. Fast motion from the offense.
Gorilla.
They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Man, what a spectacular play by that defensive end to come up with the tackle there.
And you see those guys get off the football so fast. Most of these guys are 250 to 275 pounds, but they get off the ball fast, low. And the offensive linemen, they have no chance to stop those guys as quick and as fast as they are.
Terrier. Pilot. Gaucho. Ready to go.
Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. It's caught along the sidelines, but he's out of bounds. Would have had the first down if he could have stayed in the field of play.
That's why it's so important for this defense to win first and second down. You set up third and longs like that, you can show your exotic looks, you can get the pass rush going, everybody in the back end expecting throw, and that's how you force incompletions and force fourth downs.
Boots, his first of the day away, was called on 4 times in the victory last week. The Ducks ready to go back to work on offense. This could be a real turning point in the game. They scored a touchdown. They got to stop. And now the ball squirts free. Now the defense has got it, and they're going the other way.
Well, it's a nice job by him making the catch, but guys, you got to secure the ball and put it away. The play's not over. Give the defender credit for knocking it loose, and the defense jumps on it.
Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Quarterback will audible. Trying to find his man on first down. Right on the money to the outside. He dragged the toe, and how about the ball placement? Only the receiver could get it.
I love that play call. Quarterbacks are always licking their chops after their defense gets a takeaway because they know now, hey, I got a sudden change situation. I've got a chance to take a shot and pad my stats.
Running back goes in motion. Pulls and fires complete to the right. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall. Going to work on second down, and the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. Takes the easy one to the back. And he'll run it into the end zone. Touchdown, Owls!
Yeah, how about the design of the play? Doing a great job. Get it to your man, your running back, now turn receiver in space, and let him do damage. Let him catch the football. He can do the rest. Be that special player in space that you know he is, and get into the end zone.
And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And they finish things off with an 8-yard toss for the score. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. And that is not what they were after. Kickoff sails out of bounds, an excellent field position for this offense. Here comes the offense on first down.
Here we go.
The run from the shotgun. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. He's looking to throw. That's reeled in. It's sticky. Really nice job there by both guys to throw and the catch to work that defense and get the first down. It's not just a dual threat guy. You go back to Dan Fouts or Bill Musgrave or even Justin Herbert, and passers not in short supply for the Ducks.
And when you think about the Ducks, you always think about the fancy uniforms. I think that's one of the first things that come to mind, but the guys you just named, it's been built on flash, but it's also been built on substance. Great players in their tradition, in their history, and just like now, just in the recent history, Bo Nix, another one of those guys that's put up big numbers.
They'll try again on second down after the incompletion. He's looking to throw. Trying to get to him. Looking to scramble. Nice run there to keep things moving before they force him out of bounds.
Well, great job there by the defense because they weren't able to get him sacked right away, but you saw the coverage at the back end. Nowhere for the quarterback to throw the football. Didn't get the sack, obviously. You don't get the negative play, but you also don't give up a big one. You're feeling pretty good about where you are right now in this drive.
This feels like 4-down territory, 3rd and short from the 40. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. And a missed opportunity on 3rd down as the defense knocks it free, and 4th down is...
Got to give the defense credit on that play, taking everything away, forcing the incompletion. Now it's decision time. 4th and short, and you're in field goal range. What do you do here?
Quick timeout call by the offense after the play. Hawks will punt it away on 4th down. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. And the punt team gets down there and touches it dead. That's where they'll put it in play.
This punter is such a weapon. And because he's able to get that ball down deep in his opponent's territory, that really helps out the defense. You're now forcing the opponent to drive the field to score points.
First down here with time for maybe one more play until the 2-minute warning. Receivers telling the quarterback what they see. Looking for a man. It's McDonald. Grabs it in the middle. Just what the doctor ordered to get away from the shadow of that goalpost and pick up a first down at the 23. And now a fresh set of downs for this offense.
Easy. Hornet.
A little pre-snap eye candy for the defense.
Terrier.
They'll throw it on first down. Makes his connection. They stop him just short of the first down, but it will be 2nd and inches coming up. And the Owls will hustle to the line.
Timber. Go. Tuna.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Nothing doing downfield. He'll cut his losses and throw it away. It'll be 3rd down. After the incompletion on 2nd down, it's 3rd and inches.
Slam. Cut it.
On 3rd and short, the run and looking for the first down. The offense will stop the clock and use one of its timeouts. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Florida Atlantic going back to work after moving the chains.
Lasso.
Now they'll run it on the toss. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. That linebacker saw the express lane right to the ball carrier.
And a great job by the defensive line getting some push, making them use their resources on him. The linebacker comes free, Blum, and making the backfield for a tackle for a loss.
4-2, Spider. Logger. Slide 22.
Off play action. Catch in the middle, it's Smith. And that was some kind of collision between a couple of big bodies there, and he stopped from getting the first down. They'll try to move the chains on the ground. And he needed just a single yard, and he did not get it. What a stout play by this defense. Florida Atlantic will have to send out the punt team. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Well, what that punt lacked in height, it made up for by being short. He gets it up to the 34-yard line before he stopped, and that's where the offense will set up shop. So let's see how they play it in this final 30 seconds of the first half. DBs will try to keep everything in front. Pocket starts to collapse. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, the offensive line has got to give him at least a little bit of time to survey the field. He had no chance that time, getting hit almost immediately after he got the ball.
Motion from the offense. On 2nd down, he'll try to make the connection this time. Quickly complete. They're able to get him stopped just shy of the first down mark. This will likely be the last play of the half. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. Kickoff team is on the field. They'll try to drive this one deep.
Number 11, set to kick off.
Fielded in the end zone, it's Washington. He stopped short of the 20 at the 19 and probably wishes he had just taken the touchback.
First and 10.
The Florida Atlantic offense will return to the field. They opened this third quarter on top, and they built the lead on the strength of that running game.
And they made a huge statement, too, just proving to the other team that they're more physical, they're winning in the trenches. So here in the second half, David, just keep demoralizing this defense by pounding the football.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let that happen. I riled up my guys at halftime. We're going to put more people in the box, and we got to come out and meet the physical challenge of this offense.
Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. Back to throw, it's McDonald. They're trying to get to him. Blasted as he lets it go. And he intercepts it. Didn't get a ton on the return, but they've got it inside the 20 at the 19-yard line.
I tell you what, it puts you in a tough position when you're backed up inside your own 20 trying to come out. But when you're a defense and you can force a turnover and you already set your offense up in scoring position, they are going to be extremely happy, and that offensive coordinator is going to look extremely smart.
They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
Gain of 4. Brings up second down.
Got a little work done on first down, now back to the line. DB's right up on the receivers. And it'll be incomplete. This defense is physical in pass deep.
And you didn't have a lot of panic in the first half. Man, you're starting to get now in the second half, and this offense just has really, really struggled, underperformed. You know you're a better team, but this offense hasn't shown it. This team hasn't shown it. It's the third quarter. They got to get it going now.
And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
Sometimes you beat your guy and you get sacked so clean, and sometimes, like on this play, the DBs do a great job covering, make the QB hold the football, and then the rush gets home.
He got it.
The kick is good.
Well, it's a good news, bad news scenario. You got the pick, and you would have liked to have paid that off with a touchdown, but because the drive stalls out, they're still happy to get the field goal.
They were able to get a field goal on the board, and now they'll kick it away.
Hands on the football.
Coming out with it, it's Washington. He's got great speed. What a great return, and he flips the field to start this drive off, and he just about scored himself. It is so good to have a dangerous return man. Florida Atlantic takes over again, and the Owls offense will go back to work. Well, let's see if this drive goes better than the last one. They were in and out quickly after the quick pick, David.
Yeah, first play, big mistake, man. Now, let's get this offense in a little bit of a rhythm. Maybe before you open it up again, Palmer, or do you trust him right away?
He seems to me like the guy maybe that just needs to kind of get into the flow of the game. So maybe you get the running game going here and just give him some easy looks to let him get lathered up.
Let's see what they've got on second down. Off the RPO, complete. At the 40, there he goes. Big play for this offense as they get it to the 32.
Well, we see another catch by this guy. This defense is going to need to do a better job of tackling the catch. In coverage, I know they want to slap the ball away, but if you can't do it and force the incompletion, you've got to at least make sure you're able to drag him down to the ground as soon as he catches the ball.
The receivers often will run their route based on a side adjustment.
Griffin. Dino.
Looking to throw, it's McDonald. He's got his man.
And a really nice job by the wide receiver. You run a drag route, find space. They're in zone coverage. They're not covering man-to-man. Find a little hole. Look at that QB. Y'all get on the same page. You could tell they were, and that's why they got the first down.
On the set.
Second down coming up.
Gorilla.
Now the play fake. Oh, what a grab by the defense. Looking for more room. Still on his feet. He's inside the 40. Running inside the 20. Touchdown, Oregon. And this defense coming up with points of their own. What an interception return. What about the speed from that defender on the return?
He's showing you, Reese, like, listen, it's not just wide receivers that can do that. I can take this thing to the house. I got some moves. Watch this. Unbelievable job flipping the field. Offense about to score. Defense makes the huge plays and gets points out of it.
Fielded in the end zone. It's Washington. Rolling the dice to bring it out of the end zone did not work out as he stopped at the 13. Florida Atlantic has the ball back, and the offense will try to put together a drive. That last pick six after a drive like that, David, can swing the momentum of a game.
The defense is still celebrating. I mean, such a big play. I mean, they gave up some yards but did what they're supposed to do. Now, Jesse, this offense has to put a drive together.
Yeah, they have to recapture some momentum here. What they can't do is go 3 and out and give the ball right back.
Quarterback checking the play. Comes out throwing on first down. Missed his receiver there. It's incomplete. Florida Atlantic gets to the line quickly. Looking to throw, it's McDonald. Unloads to the wideout. Right through his hands. You just have to make that catch, and it'll be third down.
Man, he was open. He had an opportunity. You just got to look that thing. A lot of times guys are catching it, and as they're catching it, you see their head start to turn to try to think about getting upfield, and they just lose that concentration for a second. A little missed opportunity there for this offense.
The aerial assault continues. Just masterful working that sideline and getting the toe down for the catch.
Well, look, that wasn't a touchdown. That was a massive play for this offense. They needed some momentum. They needed to find a rhythm, and what better way than converting on third down. Awesome job by the quarterback getting through his progression.
Looking to move it through the air. Throws to the wideout. Through his hands and incomplete. He normally makes that catch every time. It's second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Wide receiver coming across in motion. On second down, they'll take to the air. I don't think that's the way they drew it up. Incomplete. A third and long coming up here. Quarterback changing the plays at the line. On third and long, trying to have a big completion here. Complete in the middle. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be first down. This dude is just exceptional in every facet. So fluid, such a great route runner, and a big play there.
And money down, third down, find him. I mean, you want to find that matchup because he's going to win, and gets a good release, gets down the field. You see that's your playmaker, that's your guy. Get it to him, get the first down.
Finds a soft spot in the middle. And he'll pick up the first down, but he got drilled on that tackle. Florida Atlantic will go to work with a fresh set of downs. They're going to run it. Made a little something out of that run. He picked up a couple down to the 14. Going to work in the red zone. They can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. Wants to throw. It's McDonald. Quick completion on the out. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Belly stunner. Hustle, hustle.
Quick pass to the left, trying to get it to the marker. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
You got to love that. On defense, one of the most critical statistics out there is how do you play on third down? How do you prevent the opponent from keeping drives alive? Right there, tackling the catch. You gave up the completion. Whoop-de-doo. You set up 4th and long. You're going to get the ball back. Go get some water and celebrate.
Field goal is good. And we are dead even after the field goal here in the third. All tied up and just about set to kick it away. Oh, he's going to go for the return. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. And Oregon has it back, and here comes the offense. David, they couldn't pay off that last drive with a touchdown.
Now, they moved the ball down the field and executed like they wanted to until they stalled out.
And the quarterback caught up to and sacked at the 12.
And it's such an advantage for this defense to have an outside linebacker like that can rush the passer because they can set the edge. They can get off the ball, and they're just way too fast for tight ends or for offensive tackles to get out and block.
He's going to pass on 2nd down. And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again.
All right, this offense needs to come up with a solution for this defensive end because he is a problem. They have got to find a way to help out the offensive tackle, prevent this guy from getting to the quarterback.
Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. He's loose at the 50. He is smashing people. He's finally herded out of bounds. Really good pickup on 3rd down, and still not quite enough to move the chains.
Defensively, in these situations, when it's such long yardage situations, I'm going to be very, very conservative. I'm going to drop guys really, really deep. If you want to run the football, you can have at it. Now, ideally, you don't want to give up that many yards, but you still didn't give up a 1st down, so it's still successful.
4th down, and the punt team sends it the other way. Signals for the fair catch, and that's where they'll put it in play, just outside the 20. First down for this offense. They move the tight end all over. They'll run the RPO and throw it right. Makes a grab, and he's dragged down.
Second down coming up. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. And after 3, the game is tied.
Second down here as they go back to work after the break.
Check. Roll it, roll it. Set.
They'll go to the ground. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. The Owls come to the line in the hurry-up.
3rd down coming up.
Black 24. Black 24. Go, go.
Quarterback making adjustments with his receivers. Wide receiver shows motion. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play called and everyone on the same page here.
Ready
Somebody needs to make a play here. It's 3rd and long from the 26.
42, Spider.
The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. Movement on the offensive line. That's going to be a false start, and they'll walk it back. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Coming to the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. A little too anxious along that offensive line. That'll be a false start. Mental errors like that just kill drives. We'll see if they can overcome it. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on 3rd and long. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. And they make the stop just short of the line to gain. Inches to go. It'll be 4th down.
Now, a 4th down.
Less than a yard to go for a 1st down, and the offense will remain on the field. Wide receiver now comes in motion. Caught in the backfield. It's Washington. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a 1st down for this offense. He unleashed a bullet on that pass and converted the 4th down.
Gotta love it. Some people get conservative. Some people don't want to mess up. 4th down, you could tell. He wanted that window, and he threw it as hard as he could. Throws a strike to the wide receiver. Gets the big 4th down conversion.
Red pass hits complete. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground cover to pick up the 1st.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
Now the quarterback changing the original play call. Back to the air one more time. And they're not on the same page there. Probably need to pick up a few yards. From here, it would be a 62-yard attempt. They'll put the tight end in motion. To throw, it's McDonald. And they fail to hook up on 3rd down.
You know, on a 3rd and short like that, you just have to have great chemistry between the quarterback and his receiver. They just couldn't get on the same page. Now it's on 4th down.
Florida Atlantic will send the punt unit onto the field. Running it back, it's Robinson. He gets a block. Really nice job all the way around. Got a few blocks, made a couple of moves, and a good return on that one before he's pushed out of bounds. The Ducks ready to go back to work on offense. Boy, 3 and out last time, David. They'd like to be more productive this time around.
Yeah, in the last drive, nothing really clicked. No rhythm, got off the field really quickly. They need to put something together here, Palmer.
Yeah, David, bad execution on that last drive, so they got to take a collective breath and start playing like a unit on this drive.
Welcome to the frustrating reality of college football. Like, the guy at the quarterback spot, he can just do that. Pull it down, get positive yards, makes the defense have to account for him every single play.
And they make the tackle, but he has plenty for the first down.
Wow, the running back there showing you his skill set as he's able to rip off that one for a first down.
See if they can turn this drive into points. They've got it 1st and 10 at the 50. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. This offense has a 2nd down play. They've softened them up with a run. Now to throw it. Caught over the middle. It's sticky. And the catch was one thing, and the run even better. A big pickup on that one.
I love the QB here. He holds it, he holds it, he holds it just long enough to let the receiver run the drag route, and then he puts it out in front of him so he can catch it on the run in stride and then turn upfield to use his speed.
Looking for room. It's Parker. Squeezes out a couple of yards down to the 32.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
Defense not showing press coverage. He's back to throw on 2nd down. Going deep. And it's intercepted. Oh, what a big play in a tie game. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick. The pressure was rising. Drama just encapsulating this entire stadium, and the defense comes up with that pick.
Yeah, so the quarterback, he's got to be able to handle this situation. Obviously, everything gets elevated. Everything has to happen a split second sooner. Feel the crowd noise, you can feel the energy, but you've got to keep your poise. And you just wonder in this juncture of the game if the quarterback's starting to lose his cool.
To the air, it's McDonald. He's got his man. At the 35, he's open. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down. Florida Atlantic trying to line up quickly. Movement here from the tight end. They'll throw it on 1st down. That one comes out hot down the right side.
That defender is lucky on that play because he was beat on that deep route. He's lucky the QB overthrew that play.
After the quarterback and receiver failed to hook up, they'll try it again on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. Fires to the big fella. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks.
That's just a very easy, comfortable throw for the quarterback. He knows he has his big target, the tight end, running across the field on the drag. Nice play.
On 3rd and short, they keep it on the ground here. He's got enough to move the chains, and they'll spot it at the 47. The clock has stopped as we have reached the 2-minute warning here in the ballgame. Florida Atlantic has the offense humming. Quarterback checking off. Off play action on 1st down. It's caught. Really good surge for this offense. They move the chains, and he's got it at the 34. Florida Atlantic goes to work with a fresh set of downs.
The defense has their hands full trying to stop this guy in the slot. They're going to have to figure something out to bracket him, try and get two bodies around him, maybe get some safety help as well, because right now they do not have the answer for this guy.
It's just so nice to know you can start off on first down with positive plays. Positive yards, hand the football off, set up a good second down.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7.
In blue. In blue. Double right.
Takes this handoff and headed to the right. A solid pickup there before the defense is able to make the stop.
And a nice job by the offense picking up the blitz, understanding that extra guy was coming, and creating just a little bit of a hole for that running back to slither through and get some positive yards.
Biggest drive of the game right now as the clock is winding down, a chance to win it before overtime. Wide out in motion. On 3rd and short, they'll ride the running back here. He gets it oh so close to the first down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch short.
Man, and you see those sticks, and you're like, dude, 3rd and short, I just got to fall forward and get the first down, Palmer, but the defense comes up big and gets the stop.
So on offense, don't overthink this one. 4th and inches, just line up, something easy you know you can execute in your sleep and go keep this drive going.
Score remains tied.
And Oregon has it back, and here comes the offense. A pretty good bit of ground to cover here, Jesse, but they've got some time to work with.
They do, so tempo is going to be important. You got to go fast. You just got to make good decisions at the quarterback position.
And those good decisions are throwing the ball beyond the sticks, using the sidelines to get out of bounds, trying to maximize this time and get in a position to win.
On 2nd down, looking again to throw. That pass is incomplete, and they might be fortunate it wasn't knocked free for a fumble. It'll be 3rd down. They line up, and it is a long way to the sticks from here. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. And this will be picked off. A costly turnover in a tie game. That kind of play can really get you going, not only on defense, but the great field position for the 0 at the 37.
This game right now is hanging in the balance. It's tight. It's close, tied here in the 4th quarter. One play can change everything, and that was a throw that the quarterback wishes he could have.
The Florida Atlantic offense will return to the field. Okay, they're already within field goal range, Jesse. Now it's just get the ball to where the kicker wants it.
Exactly. A lot of offenses like to kind of center this. It really comes down to which side the kicker wants to kick the football from. Obviously, David, it goes without saying, ball security.
Yeah, don't get too greedy, but you want to pick up a little bit extra yards here to make this kick as easy as possible.
Back to the line after the incompletion. 2nd and 10 from the 37. Quarterback will audible. Dropping back, it's McDonald. A strike downfield. Touchdown, Florida Atlantic. And in the final moments, they've taken the lead.
And man, this game has been awesome. Some back and forth. Now you take the lead late. Nice job by the offense. And now you just need your defense to come through for you. One more time. One stop. Less than a minute remaining. Go out there and finish this thing.
The extra point is good, and now in the 4th, they're up by a touchdown and an extra point. And that last drive didn't take long, just 2 plays to get it in. And they put the points on the board with that 37-yard touchdown pass. From back of the end zone, he'll bring it out. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. Got to get everybody lined up quickly, time winding away, and they've got to push the ball down the field. The defense will use a timeout here. There are 16 seconds left to play. They've got to move quickly here. Still a chance, but they've got to force the ball down the field. They'll start this drive with a pass. Throws to the tight end. That one will be incomplete, and we are down to 10 seconds to go.
Hey, man, if you're going to force incompletions when the QB's thrown to the tight end, you better be physical. Nice job with the hit, forcing that incompletion.
No time to waste here. They've got to get set and pick up chunk yardage. Here's a throw downfield late. The pass is incomplete, and the clock will stop with 5 seconds left.
Well, this defense has had the QB's number all game long. One of the reasons why is because this cornerback, when he's on an island, he's winning the 50-50 balls, and he's not letting anything get thrown over his head downfield. Great job in coverage, disguising what he's doing and knocking balls away.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. And they're unable to connect on the long pass. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. It's incomplete. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Defense dropping into soft coverage. Wants to throw on first down. He's taking a deep shot. Falls incomplete. They fought to the final whistle, but that's going to do it. Now this team has consecutive wins, and when you start expecting to find ways to win games and you expect that you will perform well enough to do so, that's really hard to stop.
It's a mindset, Reese. This team has it right now. You can tell their players trust each other. Big situations arise in games. They're looking at each other in the huddle on the sideline, expecting to make the play that's going to help them win games. This team incredibly mentally tough right now, Dave.
And you start to build that mental toughness when you start to string together positive weeks and you start to string together positive plays. Now you know you can do it. It's not, we talked about it in the offseason, oh, we want to do this. Now you're starting to execute it and put it together on the field.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.